Hey everyone, this is the free SEO audit of Milk Street Cafe, and we're going to go into just the intro slide. You can pause it if you would like, but we're going to go right into the 5-step plan for every potential client. So it begins with the technical audit, which is what this report is about. The second thing is the fixes to take place. So these are all technical issues that Google and Bing might have when they come to a website. Third is keyword and competitor research. So we look at non-brand keywords that a website might rank for, and then also what their competitors might be ranking for and what are those gaps. The fourth is updating content. Links, so links could be local links, so think of things like Google My Business, and then other external backlinks from third-party websites linking back or maybe broken. I'll get into that a little bit later. And then finally, the last part is always review the results. So here's a summary of the site. So I'm using a third-party tool called SEMrush to kind of forecast how much traffic is coming to a website from Google. So the site ranks for 900 plus keywords that drive about 4,000 visits. As you can see, in 2020, we're noticing a dip in organic keywords rankings. That tells me that there's an opportunity right there to try to reverse that trend and start to rank for more keywords. But the big thing also here is that out of 4,000 plus visits each month, only 299 of those visits come from non-brand keywords, so keywords that do not include your brand name. So I gave a snapshot in this next slide about what are those keywords that are non-brand. So some of them might not be exactly applicable to what you're trying to achieve, but this gives just a good snapshot of what some of these keywords and their volume might look like. One of the words that stands out to me is Boston catering, for example. I'm going to get into that one more specifically, but this keyword ranks on page 2 of Google. It has 1,000 searches a month, and it ranks for the catering page, but there's a great opportunity right here to increase the rank within Google and drive more traffic to the website. Now, another thing that I break down is the traffic by page. So a lot of people will assume you want to drive traffic to your homepage, but your homepage is pretty much really good for your brand name and association with that. So it's those inner pages like catering or cafe that, from a non-brand perspective, somebody who may not know of the name of the business but are looking for some type of catering provider, that's how they might actually be able to find you. So we want to increase the total ranking keywords for these pages and also the traffic. So let's begin with the technical SEO audit. Again, using SEMrush as a high level, this site is doing pretty well from a technical standpoint, 87% score. Not many errors or warnings to worry about too much, but I do break down some of the main issues that the tool came back with. Out of this entire list, I think the most important one to actually update is the last, which is the site map is not in the robots text file. The reason why that's so critical is that when Google and Bing come to any website, the first place that they're going to generally look at is the robots.txt file. That tells them where they should and should not look on a website. So by including your sitemap in the robots text file, it's almost like giving Google and Bing a map to find all of your content a little bit easier. Competitor research. Sticking with SEMrush, I put in your website and I came back with a few local competitors that you can see that are in the Boston area. So the way that the tool works, that it takes the keywords that you rank for and it finds similar sites that rank for the words that either you're going after, you rank for, or might be applicable to your website. And they break them down by common keywords and search traffic as well. And what's important about using this view is that you can actually reverse engineer any website. You can find out those gaps. So if another website is ranking on page 1 for a keyword or a topic that you're not covering, it's a great opportunity to say that can we leapfrog them within the results. Now, I have a few additional third-party competitors that I wanted to just kind of give an overview for. So ezCater, big website, 300,000 visits each month. Fuda, a lot smaller really, it's 37,000 visits each month. And now Rita's 1.5, Baker's Best 3.3, Rebecca's 2.2. I know I went through those pretty quick, but it's taken that same philosophy. So if you look at Rita's, if you look at Fuda, etc., you look for any common keywords that they rank for, that you're ranking for. You try to find out where that gap might live. And here's an example of how we can actually close that gap for a particular keyword and topic. So at the start of this video, I mentioned Boston catering. Keyword that's on page 2 of Google has 1,000 searches each month. But when I put your content into a tool called ClearScope, you came back with a C- score. And the highest score you can get is an A++. There's a big opportunity right here to add more relevant words to the page. So think of it like Wikipedia. Wikipedia ranks for so many topics because they cover really whatever you search for in such an exhaustive way, where if you search for, let's say, Fenway Park, you're going to find out exactly about when it was built, the capacity of the venue, nearby bars around the area, famous players who played in this historic landmark within Boston, etc. And you just doing a broad sense search of Fenway Park, now you've learned so much. And that's really why Wikipedia ranks so well, because they cover a topic in such a clear and understanding way that Google can then categorize their information. And that's really what we want to do here. So on the very bottom left, I mentioned here's some words that are missing from the page. So interestingly enough, the term Boston catering is not on the page. Other words like Massachusetts, Boston area, Somerville, vegan, corporate events, etc. These are just words that are closely associated to the topic of corporate catering. So if I went through this, I would add these words if they were applicable to the business. Now another one I chose was breakfast catering Boston. Now this says there's about 170 searches each month, and I want to move slightly away from dismissing that as maybe too small of an opportunity, because these tools, when you get under, let's say, 1,000 searches each month, they're going to group keywords and topics together, because ultimately SEMrush or Google Keyword Planner tool wants you just a bit on the term Boston catering or catering company. When you get more long tail, they're going to have less and less search volume around that. It's just very hard to get that data. But again, here you have an SEO score of an F. So again, big opportunity right here. We can add words like muffins, bagel, vegan, mozzarella, feta, avocado, etc. all to this page. Really, if this makes a lot of sense, I would absolutely go through and maybe list out these words for the breakfast catering. Now, one thing I don't talk too much about, but I saw this as an opportunity, was the meta name description on the catering page for your site. So sticking with that same theme, you're on page 2 of Google for term breakfast catering Boston, but that meta name description there could actually be a lot better. That description is almost like your pitch. So if someone like me who's doing a Google search come across your listings, I want to read about kind of what you offer, and maybe that can improve the click-through rate of your organic listing. I noticed that you basically copied your title tag over, so it says Metro Boston, office and corporate catering, and that has that pipe. It's very much like the title tag above it. I would definitely go through your meta name descriptions, and it has to be about 155 characters or less, and really make it that compelling pitch for somebody who does a search for breakfast catering Boston. They want to know exactly who you guys are, what you can provide, and then also anything else that you think would be important, whether it's a price point or a call to action like book ahead or anything else like that. You really want to capture them in that 1 second or two that they're going to look at your listing. Another thing that I looked at was the local links. So again, since you're a local company, it's important to make sure that your information across the web is always accurate. So sites like Google My Business, Bing, Facebook, they're all present, which is good. But there's some sites that are not. They have some issues like Foursquare, Instagram, TripAdvisor, etc. So just, it's important to make sure that you're always in the right spot wherever your audience is looking. So if these make sense to you, we should go through and make sure that we are verifying our business on Instagram and we are putting our information on TripAdvisor if it makes sense, and also Snapchat too. Now, another opportunity right here is that you have some sites that link out to your website, but they're broken. So what happens is if somebody links out to you and it's the wrong address, they get to a 404, which means the page does not exist. Or if you had this page at one time and then you removed it, you never redirected that page to another page, a user now lands on a dead page on your site. So within one of the tools that I have, you can find out all the broken links in your site. It's a great way to pass SEO value to a page that actually exists, but also more importantly, you want to drive quality referral traffic back to your site. So again, if I found your site on some sort of like food blog and I wanted to go and learn more about your catering service and I come to a page that's broken, I'm going to have a bad experience and I might actually therefore go to a different site. So in conclusion, a couple things here. So if we don't have it already, we want to install Google Search Console and Bing Webmaster Tools. These are free tools that are going to allow you to see how both bots crawl your website, if there's any errors, the keywords that rank for them, etc. The next thing is to set up a profile within SEMrush. Now this is a tool that I have. It's going to do weekly health checks of your site, the keyword rankings, keyword gap analysis, those links that I shared earlier. There's a lot more that the tool can provide. And then another thing too, I looked at your first-party data. I would definitely encourage you to do phone tracking as a goal. So since you're a local business, you want to make sure that if anyone who comes to your site who then calls that phone number, if we can track that, it's a great way to see, where they're coming from, what source, what path they took, how many pages they had to go through to finally get in contact with you, and really what that value is. Because then if you know that information, you can always back into that with paid search as well. So if you know how many clicks it takes to get somebody to pick up the phone and call you, you can always reverse those numbers back into how much the cost per click would be if you bid on that within Google. A couple other things. So XML sitemap was missing in the robots text. We went over that. I also noticed that you had some alt tags missing from your images. So alt tags are just some simple code you can add, and it can tell Google exactly what this image is about. Bing's pretty good when it comes to image optimization, and I'll share that actually a little bit later on in this presentation, but definitely take advantage of your alt tags. A couple other things real quick. So I mentioned the primary services. We want to add those missing words, and we want to create internal links to pass SEO value across different sections. Fourth is to update your local listings on Google My Business and Bing Places with regular updates, especially now. Number 5, work together on a cohesive SEO strategy. And number 6 is to review those competitors and find those low-hanging fruit ideas to either blog about or to expand your content on the site. Okay, some case studies right here just to kind of go over this real quick. Working on a site right now, growing the traffic. It's at its highest level ever. As you can see down here, I've redacted their name. Basically, we're driving over 70,000 visits now per month. Another case study right here, this is just year-over-year data for a client. They were up 35% in their traffic. Another case study, this is a personal site that I have called the Stadium Reviews, and I like to share this with people because I also have to do the work on my site to make it rank. So everything that I go over in this audit are things that I've done already, and here are the results. So a term like Tropicana Field Tilt, I own the top image within Google, and I also own the top organic listing as well right there. For a term like New Era Field Parking, interestingly enough, I outrank the Buffalo Bills official website for their own parking tips. That drove a lot of traffic to my site when it was October, November, and December. To the right, I have the answer box for indoor baseball stadiums, and I also have the first organic listing as well. These are just some examples of getting your content directly into Google, getting the top ranking position, etc. Here's another case study. This is one of my newest clients that I have. We're in month 3, and we're absolutely doing a great job with driving more traffic to their site. So the client's been awesome. We've been updating his content. We've been working really hard to make sure that the site is structurally found within Google, how they're crawling the site. And as you can see here, we started back in March, and now in May, we're at our highest level ever with total ranking keywords. Here's just another case study right here, basically doubling the traffic. And then finally, everything here has been about SEO. My last case study is about paid search. So you can see that when we first began, we had an average cost per click of $3.73. And then all the way down in March, it was dropped down to $2.09. So that means you can drive more traffic at a lower cost per click, which means that if you keep your same conversion rate, you drive more conversions at the same monthly budget. And actually you can see that we've increased our budget because the performance of our cost per acquisition went down from $23 to $9. So that's the free SEO audit. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.